Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fan, man, tapping in like you always do. And let me give a special shout out to all the members, man. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We have made it to that Friday flow. I hope you guys had a great week. And if you got nowhere to go, just know you're always welcome here. And if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos all across the world and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam, man. Stay up to date with the latest, greatest, interesting, and creepy videos all across the world. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
The goal of physics, we believe, is to find an equation, perhaps no more than 1 inch long, which will allow us to unify all the forces of nature and allow us to read the mind of God. And what is the key to that 1 inch equation? Supersymmetry. A symmetry that comes out of physics, not mathematics, and has shocked the world of mathematics. But you see, all this is pure mathematics. And so the final resolution could be that God is a mathematician. And when you read the mind of God, we actually have a candidate for the mind of God. The mind of God, we believe, is cosmic music, the music of strings resonating through 11-dimensional hyperspace. That is the mind of God. The highest dimension is 11-dimensional hyperspace.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of people and scholars argue that point, especially using points of the Bible, like specific numbers, like the number 7, 33, so on and so forth. So yeah, that might be one way to look at it, but let me know what you think.
He was shocked when the customer made a payment with his hand. Well, this is an RFID implant injected underneath the skin, and once it's there, you can make payments, open doors, and even unlock your car, just like a contactless card.
How do you do it?
Magic.
Ah, magic.
Hey, I really don't care how convenient it is. I'll pass. But if you're down for the chip, definitely let me know.
The footage shows a strange bipedal creature rapidly moving across farmland. According to the video, the property owner insists there are no neighbouring farms or animals nearby, leaving no logical explanation for this eerie figure darting across the open field. Interestingly, the farmer didn't just witness this once. The creature returned, enabling him to capture a second, clearer glimpse.
In a deleted scene, Wayland asks the engineer, "Why did you want to destroy us?" And the engineer said this: "Many worlds were created by our fathers with the blood of our Lord. Your world was the only successful one, the star child of the universe. Your world is the only one that resembles ours." Then Dr. Shaw asks, "Why do you hate humans so much?" Then the engineer says, "We created a paradise for you, a new Eden. We tried once more to save you. We took the child of the mother back to paradise and taught him, explained to him the meaning of life and creation. We returned him to earth so that he could teach you, but you chose to punish him. We gave you all the seeds of life, but in return, you gave us only rot." After saying this, the engineer violently tears off David's head. This heavily suggests that the child of the mother was actually Jesus and that the engineers sent him to guide humanity. But after his crucifixion, they saw us as a failed creation and planned to wipe us out with the black goo. So, was Prometheus secretly telling a dark version of the Jesus story? Or was this just an abandoned idea? Let me know what you think.
Finally, the time is coming, and Jaguar is going to be required to stand on business and produce these receipts. She still has not produced these alleged receipts of witnesses she have that could bring down Jay-Z and just blow the whole case open. She's ducking and dodging that. And now Brian McKnight is suing her for defamation for stating that he abused his wife and prostitutes. And he's going after her for blatant lies. He also said he don't know nothing about her being related to his wife. So I wonder will that come out. I really hope when people say they're going to sue her, they go ahead and go through with it. A lot of people don't sue people that don't got nothing. But sometimes you got to prove a point and sue them just to let them know you can't play with my name. Comment below your thoughts. Do you think he will win his case or lose?
Michael B. Jordan apparently practices satanic witchcraft. Now, there's a clip that's going around where Michael B. Jordan says that he's a babalao. Now, I'm about to tell you exactly what that means, but first, hear it for yourself.
Michael B. Jordan, the B stands for Bakari, which means of noble promise.
Correct. You know your stuff. Okay.
All right. Who gave you that name, and how do you think it shaped the man you are today?
I'm a Babalawo, and my mom, when I was born, I got that name, fresh out the womb. I'm a Babalawo, and I'm a Babalawo.
So a babalao is a priest or diviner in the Yoruba religion, especially in the Ifa spiritual system. Now the word babalao in Yoruba means father of mysteries or father of secrets, and babalaos are experts in divination. And they are responsible for communicating with the dead through a system called Ifa. Now, they use divination chains or ikin or sacred palm nuts that provide spiritual guidance, and they help people solve problems. They perform rituals, they maintain a connection between humans and the dead, and I'm telling you, all of this is so demonic. And he's saying that he even channels spirits. He connects with dead spirits. And Michael B. Jordan even said that he channeled Chadwick Boseman in the movie Sinners. And this is how him and so many other actors are able to display certain characters. They tap into the spirit realm and they align their spirit with demonic forces.
NASA just captured a huge orb hovering our sun. This footage right here was released by NASA 2 days ago, and you can literally see this orb hovering our sun, and all of the sudden stops for a couple of minutes and then it just moves away. Now there is a lot of speculation that this orb is responsible for the power outage in France, Italy, Portugal. This is incredible. When you see this footage in real detail, you can technically see the size of these type of orb that hover our sun for a couple of minutes, then stopped, and then it just vanished out of the nowhere. NASA is not going to come out and give a statement or even talk about this. I think they're just going to sweep these under the rug, and they're not going to say anything about this. But this is incredible, a huge orb.
Watch this incredibly near miss, where a man cheated death by inches when a giant crane collapsed on him. The dramatic moment happened at a construction site in China, with the 80-meter-long crane arm falling 23 floors of a high-rise building. The man was luckily stood next to construction materials, which took the weight of the crane. The man escaped with no injuries.
Hey, that's how you know God loves you, right? Because he could have been over with, but he made it through. That is wild.
Have you ever wondered how thin the aluminum is between you and the outside of an airplane? It's just a big flying soda can.
Prefrontal cortex doesn't develop until they're 25. Okay, everybody kind of knows that, right? It's kind of like a running joke. What I didn't understand is that the amygdala, which is your ability to feel emotions, fully matures at age 15. Now, when we say fully matures, we think matures. No. We mean the ability to feel emotions fully is as full as it's ever going to be at 15. So you have a gap between 15 and 25 from when your emotions fully develop to when your rational thought completely develops. And so the way they explained it is it's like driving a high horsepower engine with a developing steering wheel. And that's really what teens are between the age of 15 and 26, because they have all this ability to feel and they want to,
but not the ability to think through.
Correct.
Ever wondered if time travel is possible without a machine? It begins with awareness. The pyramids are not dead buildings. They are gates through time. Every chamber, every corner, every shadow holds a moment from the story of creation. And the moment you stand before the Sphinx, the journey begins. A journey inward before it is outward. A journey from questions to awakening. The lower chamber, the moment of the fall. The middle chamber, the moment of reunion. The upper chamber, the start of the mission. In silence, everything begins. And in the Sphinx's gaze, the questions awaken. If you want to see time, enter the pyramid. If you want to return to the origin, read the stone. And if you step inside, you return to the moment everything began. There is no machine, there is only you, and there is a gate that only opens to the presence of the soul. Subscribe to the channel, because this is not just a visit, It's a return to who you truly are.
When you see someone holding their car key to their head, you probably think, what are they doing? It looks weird, but it actually works. You see, your head is mostly made of water, and water can amplify radio signals. When you press the key fob against your head, your skull and brain fluids act like a makeshift antenna, boosting the signal just enough to reach your car from farther away. So next time your key won't reach, you might just need to use your head.
Welcome to Martial Law Light. An executive order was signed last night by the president to reinforce local and state law enforcement, giving them the authority to do whatever they want to whoever they want. Go look it up.
Also, I want to touch on something else that this correlates with. Documentary that I saw on YouTube about DMT.
Yeah.
And these guys were doing experiments with DMT, and they found that everybody was seeing these same symbols when they shine a laser a certain way and kind of diffracted the laser.
Yep.
In a way that you do like the double slit experiment.
Yes.
And in the diffraction, they saw these symbols, and those symbols are the same.
That's fascinating. Yeah, Danny Jones does this amazing show on this, and these guys they're doing DMT. They're showing a laser in a specific way exactly to create this diffraction effect, and then their kind of interpretation of this is like they're seeing almost like the source code,
yeah.
like a binary code behind what we're seeing, which that sounds absolutely absurd. But if you take physicists like John Wheeler seriously,
yeah,
or people like Claude Shannon, who was really more kind of information theory, but like maybe the universe is more information theoretic at its core, and we are rendering it in real time. And maybe when you take DMT, you ascend into these higher states, and you can actually look at the source code itself.
It looked like a dragon.
So we are in San Diego.
Wait, it disappeared.
And there's a full-ass dragon. Can someone please confirm if this is a real-life dragon flying around? Like, look at this thing. Where? It's massive.
Wait, I don't
like,
see it anymore.
Look how big this thing is. It has wings. It has a tail. Can someone confirm what this thing is flying around in San Diego? Like, is it some kind of bird? Is it an animal? Is it a dragon? Find out what this thing is. It has to be a real-life dragon.
Hey, now I know she must have been on some kind of DMT because that clearly was a kite. You know, and if I'm wrong, definitely let me know in the comments, but it looked like a kite to me, so she got to stop the cap.
I would not be surprised if Shador wound up having a Geno Smith night if he shows up on night one and it goes all the way through.
And then here it comes in the fifth round finally.
Dion misjudged what kind of leverage his son had. He got bad information. I think his son was operating on the principle that my daddy knows everything, my daddy knows this league, and my daddy says I'm gonna be a top 10 pick, so I ain't got to go to all these places.
It's a stunning and rare look at a water spout, not from the ground, but high in the clouds. This video was captured as a flight to Phuket, Thailand descended and storm clouds moved in. The passenger who recorded it said the funnel got at least 100 feet high as it snaked between the ocean and the clouds. And just like a tornado on land, a tornadic water spout sprouts from severe thunderstorms.
This is a photo of the lady in black in Salem, Massachusetts. I literally am gonna get nightmares from this. It's so creepy, and the backstory's even creepier. The photo was taken in the Joshua Ward house. It's most commonly seen on the top floor of the building, accompanied by unexplainable crying sounds. Nobody knows what she wants, no one knows where she came from. Everyone has similar sightings. People say that she's a female spirit in a black costume and even blacker curls. The lady in black has been described as having transparent skin. People say it's as if she was made of glass. So like you can see through her skin, but not through her hair and her cloak. The photo was taken by Carson Realty in the 1980s. This is a full photo of the figure. She has unbrushed hair. I thought it was like really curly. Some people think it's unbrushed, some people think it's curly. I've never seen her, I'm just looking at the picture. This is a Polaroid photo that was taken during a Christmas party, and people also refer to her as the witch. And he took this photo intending on capturing an employee, but he got this instead. Absolutely horrifying, but this is not the only ghost that haunts this estate. Let me know if you want to hear about the others, and come over here for longer freaky videos.
And one day, I noticed he was having a funky sleep schedule. I noticed he was sweating all the time. I noticed that He was always very on edge, argumentative. I realized how much weight that he had lost and how bad he looked. And then I look and find this bag of crystals, and I'm looking like, is this cocaine? I don't know. Is this cocaine? Oh, babe. Oh, those are my pills smashed up. That's why it looks like that. That's the best form of it. That's the... What do I know? I have never been put in front of these kind of things.
Just when he thought it was safe, Orlando's skeleton started to pop out them closets, man. That's crazy, but I don't think she's saying anything we didn't all already know anyway. So, have fun with that.
There's a CIA paper titled Assessment of the Gateway Process. Basically, this paper tells you that our entire universe is a hologram. This paper was written as an assessment of the work of Dr. Robert Monroe. Dr. Robert Monroe was a radio broadcaster who realized something strange about our brain and how it responds to frequency. So our brains have two hemispheres, the left and the right, but they both respond to stimuli differently and frequency differently. But what he realized is if you can get them to harmonize and work together, then your entire body starts to work in this very unified way where now you start to tap into these energy fields around you, and you can induce lucid dreaming, you can induce astral projection, and you can actually leave your body and start to traverse these other dimensions that exist around us.
Carpenter wasn't making a fun alien movie. He was showing you how we're already enslaved. We just can't see it. They Live dropped in 1988. Reaganomics, mass media exploding, consumerism at its all-time high. In They Live, the world's elite, the politicians, the news anchors, the rich, they're all actually aliens. But not sci-fi aliens from Mars, aliens who look like us, act like us, and profit from controlling us. Some people believe that this mirrors real-world beliefs about reptilians and interdimensional beings or non-human influencers living among the elite. It's not about little green men, it's about outsiders living like parasites inside human society. With every billboard, magazine, commercial loaded with secret commands. Obey, consume, conform, sleep. And now today, actual subliminal messages in ads, music, and movies. Everyone around you is already hypnotized, and when you try to wake them up, they try to fight you. They don't want to see. Mass formation, psychosis, groupthink, and how it's easier for people to stay asleep than confront an ugly truth. Sounds real, don't it? Carpenter said the hardest thing wasn't aliens, it was getting people to care that they were being enslaved. You don't need a sci-fi movie to see the truth, you just need to open your eyes.
What if I told you the most powerful people in the world wear red shoes for a reason, and it has nothing to do with style? Leather shoes are made from skin. We all know this. But red shoes, these aren't just any leather. No, they're crafted from something far more exclusive. They say it makes the softest leather in the world. The price for these shoes, let's just say, it's not just measured in dollars. You've seen them, bright, bold, almost out of place. Red shoes on billionaires, politicians, Hollywood elites. You think it's just fashion? No, it's a symbol, a mark, something only the initiated understand. Same with the red carpet they walk on. And if you think that sounds insane, remember, Nike already introduced this idea to the mainstream. Yeah. They literally made sneakers infused with real inner liquids, a major company mass marketing the concept. And who do you think wore these shoes the most? Who was the target demographic? But this goes deeper. There's actual artwork, paintings, tapestries, showing people wearing red shoes against their will. Ever wondered why? Because red shoes don't just symbolize status. They tell a story, but only to those who can read the symbolism. And the red carpet, think about it, the biggest celebrities, the most powerful figures in entertainment, all walking down a red carpet. And what do they always ask each other? Who are you wearing? That's not an accident. It's ritualistic, a knowing nod to something deeper. Because certain ultra-luxury brands tailor-make clothing infused with real organic materials, if you know what I mean. And they flaunt it in your face. Ever see that movie, random scene, guy strutting down the street in red shoes, eating pizza, no context, just thrown in there? Why? Because once you start recognizing the pattern, you realize it's everywhere. And here's the kicker. It's not just shoes. Certain ultra-luxury handbags, the kind with years-long waiting lists, the kind only they can get, are rumored to be made from the exact same material. Same source, same meaning, different product. They've been hiding it in plain sight. That's what they do. They don't keep secrets. They tell you exactly what they're doing. And if you don't see it, that's on you. So next time you see a billionaire rocking a pair of red leather loafers, ask yourself, is it just a style choice, or are they telling you exactly who they are? I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
Now that one kind of got me, because every time they are publicizing the red carpet, aren't they always asking celebrities, who are you wearing? And imagine they meant literally. That's kind of creepy. Especially if you think on it too long, right? Let me know what you think.
Today, 11 countries officially announced they will stop using the U.S. dollar for trade. And this could be just the beginning. Trump's relentless tariffs, sanctions, and reckless spending have weakened the dollar's strength. He may have once believed his policies would make America stronger, but now those very policies are pushing America out of the global financial spotlight. If the dollar loses its status as the global reserve currency, inflation will soar, prices will rise, and the purchasing power of ordinary Americans will decline. Your savings could lose value, and your cost of living may skyrocket. Worse yet, the world is moving on without us. Countries once controlled by the dollar are now embracing their own currencies and stepping into the global trade arena with confidence. This shift isn't just about currency. It's about losing influence, losing power, and potentially losing our place in the world. How do you feel about the dollar's decline? Is it Trump's fault, or is this just the inevitable result of America's financial dominance fading away?
While out there, we have had a couple crazy incidents. I'll speak to one in particular just because I don't think it's too crazy to speak about. But basically, I brought some of the guys out with me. We're operating under somebody's Q clearance. While out there, one of the commanders of the unit that was coming in by helicopter, unit landed, and one of the cadre that oversees their movement and kind of grading them on their performance and evaluating was standing next to some of my guys. And during that time, a green orb type object had flown over, and my buddy had seen it, and he looked up at the cadre that was there and mentioned asked him if he had seen it, and he looked down at my buddy and said, "Are you sure you saw that?" And my friend was like, "Yeah, I saw it as green orb." And he says, "Because if you did see it, we got a lot of paperwork to do." And my buddy kind of got the hint, and he said, "Yeah, maybe I didn't see it." And he's like, "That's better." And they kind of brushed it off. So they obviously either knew what it was or knew not to talk about it. Yeah. And I don't know either or. I mean, we sign NDAs and stuff going out there, so there's not much more we can say about it, but sure. It was interesting.
There's a reason why this genocide was directed at these clans in the hill country, precisely because they were the remnants of the hybrid species that were inhabiting the earth, still in the aftermath of the flood.
And isn't it interesting the way Hollywood is beating this drum about the return of the Titans? Thanos, the Mad Titan, Sam Worthington, who was in Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, starred in a movie last year, went straight to Netflix, called The Titan, and the new Godzilla movie, where they have rebranded them. They're no longer Mutos, which is what, monsters of unusual size or whatever. They rebranded them as the Titans, the original and rightful rulers of Earth. Because again, presenting them as Titans, the original and rightful rulers of the Earth. The Titans are still around. In fact, I argue in my book, Last Clash of the Titans, that they are somehow still influencing things on this earth, even though they are currently chained in the abyss. Revelation 9 says they're going to get out for 5.5 months at the end. When the Nephilim return, and we understand that the Nephilim, the spirits of the Nephilim that were destroyed in the days of Noah, in the flood, were barred entrance into the afterlife, into the netherworld, into heaven, basically condemned to roam the earth. That was the belief of the early church. That was the belief of the Jews in the time of Jesus and through all the Old Testament period. It wasn't until Augustine in about the 5th century that belief went away. He also basically turned the church away from believing that the Nephilim had been created at all. Ezekiel, though, saw it. And this is the thing. God bless people like L.A. Marzulli who've been teaching this for a long time. He's right. The Nephilim are returning. But I think Ezekiel 39 is a clue, but you got to understand the worldview of the prophets to understand what Ezekiel was writing. In Ezekiel 39, he's writing about the culmination of the war of Gog and Magog. And Gog was the Old Testament Antichrist figure, okay? He is the figure that John in the book of Revelation calls the Antichrist. That is the same war that culminates with the Battle of Armageddon, which is fought for the Har Moed, God's Mount of Assembly, which is Zion, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Ezekiel says, God said that he will prepare a place in Israel for burial of Magog, the forces of Magog. The Valley of the Travelers east of the sea, refers to east of the Dead Sea, and it will block the travelers. The key is understanding that travelers in the Old Testament concept, the Old Testament world, were spirits that would travel or cross over from one plane of existence to another. In other words, the realm of the dead to the land of the living.
Didn't I tell y'all when y'all see this face that I'm about to drop a truth bomb on you? There is a clip that is going around because Michael B. Jordan, his middle name is Bakari, but he also says that in this clip that he's a Babalawo. And we're going to find out what that means. Let's watch.
B. Jordan, the B stands for Bakari, which means of noble promise.
Correct. You know your stuff.
Okay. All right. Who gave you that name, and how do you think it shaped the man you are today?
I'm a Babalawo, and my mom, when I was born, I got that name, fresh out the womb, and I just try to, live in that purpose, everyday sin.
So a Babalawo is a priest or diviner in the Yoruba religion, especially in the Alpha spiritual system. The word Babalawo in Yoruba means father of mysteries or father of secrets. Babalawos are experts in Alpha divination and are responsible for communicating with the divine through a system called Alpha, using tools like the Opeli divination chain or Ekin sacred palm nuts. They provide spiritual guidance, help people solve problems, perform rituals, and maintain a connection between humans in the spiritual world. This sounds like some demonic stuff because it sounds like it because it is. He's saying he channels spirits. He connects with the dead. Okay, so what is Alpha divination? It is a system of divination practiced by the Yoruba people of West Africa, particularly in Nigeria. It involves a diviner known as a Babalawo who uses divination, Trey, and Tapper to interpret the will of the gods and spirits. Unlike other forms of divination, Alpha divination doesn't rely on spirit mediumship, but on a complex system of orally transmitted text that the Babalawo memorizes and interprets. What is examples of divination? Modern forms of divination include astrology, horoscopes, scrying, tarot cards, and Ouija boards. The Bible speaks against divination. Here it is right here. In religious context, the sin of divination is the act of seeking hidden knowledge or foretelling the future through non-divine means, such as consulting spirit mediums, omens, or other supernatural forces. It's considered a sin because it involves seeking knowledge that God has not chosen to reveal, and because it often involves demonic or spiritual forces that are not aligned with God's will. The scriptures talk against divination, necromancy, enchanters, witches. Read Deuteronomy 18:9-11. He also says he channeled Chadwick Boseman in the movie Sinners. This is how him and many other actors are able to display certain characters. They tap into the spiritual rhythm and align their spirit with demonic forces. Seek the Most High Yahuwah for information, not New Age, not African spiritualism. Just drop the truth bomb on you.
The Illuminati is real, 100%. Trust me, I know. You hear me? I have been approached so many times, you dig? And that's one of the reasons of why, it took me a while to want to drop on a major, which I'm on my way to now, and I'm dropping a project called No One Cares. Right after this interview is over, you'll gonna hear about it a lot. But yeah, I've been approached by the Illuminati at least 3 times in my life, which makes me petrified because the things that come with that, it's humbling. It really is. It's scary. It's scary. In this game, you don't really work hard to be a superstar and successful. You get chose to. And when they choose you, you gotta do what they tell you to do. Or bad things that happen to you. And that's facts. But now, I'm just not afraid no more. You heard me? And I'm ready. I'm ready to do what I gotta do. And I feel so great right now in my life to be able to kick ass. And the things that's so tempting that'll make your process faster to get where you need to go. It's so tempting to want to accept the things that the Illuminati present to you. It's tempting, bro. It really is. And it sucks that you really gotta, that it even took me this long to keep pumping and dropping mixtapes and doing this and doing that. For me to be able to surface back the way I'm surfacing right now, you know, by the grace of the universe and God, that it's actually going the way I need to go now. But I could have been where I was at, mighty bruh, if I would have accepted what was presented to me. And I didn't. So I became whatever, the pimp guy or this guy or that guy. I was, you know, the 6-month drug dealer. I was doing all these things because I was so afraid of what the Illuminati and the industry come with. And I'm not afraid no more. But yes, the Illuminati is real. And when they come at you, it's kind of hard to bargain the presentation that they come at you with, if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't see what's so hard about it. I mean, we see what the outcome is. And when I say we, the entire world sees what happens when it's time for your downfall. So if you can just kind of look at that whole situation with wisdom, I mean, it's pretty easy to me. Turn it down and do your own thing, man, because it decided to go down that route. It's only going to end one way, literally. It never ends great.
So scientists just did the impossible. They ran an experiment and reality itself broke down. So here's the fascinating story behind how one experiment collapses reality and you'll never see the world the same ever again. So this is called the Fraueger-Renner experiment. Here, there's 4 scientists with 4 perspectives doing one quantum test. Each scientist measured a particle and each followed quantum physics perfectly. But here's the kicker. They compared their notes, their realities did not match at all. And the craziest part is that they are all correct from their own perspective. So imagine that we're playing this video game and one person sees a red dragon versus another person sees a blue dragon. However, according to the rules of this video game, only one dragon is possible, which means that even though 2 people are experiencing the same event, their interpretation of the event might cause them to live in 2 completely separate worlds. So the key takeaway from the Fraueger-Renner experiment is this: facts are not absolute, truth depends on who's looking, and reality has no single owner. So your mind isn't just observing reality, your mind is also helping create reality for itself.
Now that's facts. I realized that really early in life. Everybody has their own path to success. I can literally tell you exactly what somebody did to get where they got in life, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. That means you got to get in tune with yourself and figure out what's going to work for you. Like, everybody literally has their own formula. That's what I like to call it, man. You got to figure out your formula and whatever that is for you.
Some of the big things, in particular in Missouri, that you found that were really interesting.
The things they found in Missouri are crazy. They found, Egyptian ruins, cities full of pyramids, but they're building that beautiful bridge there in St. Louis that crosses the Mississippi. And when they were running the pylons, they're blowing the rock and they blast their way into a tunnel. And they found a whole city with paved streets, carved stone, fountains, completely buried with a roof over its head. That seems absolutely absurd. That to me is far from absurd, and that in almost all states that you find with mining especially, or well digging, that they run into buried cities. And this is all over. Farmers are digging a well, they hit a city. Like, how do you explain that? And when you dig deep enough, you go, okay, this has happened several times. Like, yeah, of course there are ruins everywhere, but here's the kicker. It's cities built on cities on cities.
Maybe the elite are like, the best way to bury something is to absolutely dominate it and cement it over and put skyscrapers there and all that stuff.
Wipe it clean, yeah.
Wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Oh, snap.
Well, there it is.
Would you care to share that journey of...
Well, I learned...
Gotcha.
Got him! Got him!
Hold on, hold up. Hold on. What?
Could noise-canceling headphones actually be bad for you? Researchers say they could maybe contribute to what's called auditory processing disorder, or APD. That's when your ears work just fine, but your brain has difficulty making sense of the sounds that you hear. In our noisy world, your brain has to learn how to distinguish, for example, spoken words from background noise. Usually that happens all on its own during a child's development, and practice makes perfect. But if the brain doesn't have to cope with much ambient noise because it's regularly screened out by headphones, experts say, that might contribute to APD down the line. So, although noise-canceling headphones are a great thing, take them off every once in a while to give your brain an acoustic workout.
In 1994, a man named Miguel Alcubierre cracked Einstein's relativity wide open. His solution? A warp drive, faster than light travel. There's only one problem. He needed something called negative energy. The very next year, in 1995, they found it. Scientists created something called a Bose-Einstein condensate that exhibited negative effective mass, aka negative energy. From 2016 to 2018, the U.S. Navy, through the means of a guy named Salvatore Pais, was granted multiple patents that strikingly resemble UFO and UAP technology. And in 2025, like 3 weeks ago, a White House official said this:
"Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated."
You, of course, think this is all disinformation and that he was talking about quantum computers.
So I was passing by this Aldi and noticed that the storefront has symbolism, not just the logo. Because the logo is an A that coincidentally looks like a 666. It also has 33 symbolism. Because this logo can be viewed as just a thicker 6 in itself. From the main road, if you're west of the building, you can see 1, 2, 3. And then on the main road standing east of the building, you can see it again. 1, 2, 3. So 666. Pretty fitting for a name that sounds like All Die. And then right next door you have a Burger King that has the logo twice on the storefront. And they did that because the Burger King logo has this random C. So having two of them on the storefront, you have a double C, which transfers over numerically to a 3-3.
We all know by now that Beyonce is being mercilessly mocked by the media and by fans. Her Cowboy Carter tour tickets reaching the same price as a McDonald's meal. And it's such a big surprise considering the fact that Beyonce has won more awards than just about anybody. But when in doubt, invite Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey to show up in the nosebleed section and not know any of your lyrics. You know, I've heard a few interesting things about Tyler Perry. Like, why in the world would somebody want to blow up Tyler Perry's studios? Or the fact that his studio president died in a plane crash on December 7th of 2024 and no one said a word. And what was it Jaguar Wright stated?
Timon Durrett and Lamont Rucker were not the same after they went on camera with Tyler Perry.
Should I post what I heard Monique state about Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey at Cat Williams' stand-up tour? I think I'm gonna.
Found out that, in my humble opinion, Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry are the drug dealers of our motherfucking community. They will exploit us and give us turkeys on goddamn Thanksgiving. That's what those motherfuckers are to me. I ain't backing down, I ain't backing up. Tyler, I ain't going no motherfucking where. Hello.
Things that make you go, But anyways, Beyonce, good luck.
Why can't we take the salt out of the water?
You can. It just takes energy.
But why isn't that being done on
You can. You have to
large
ask
scale?
who's paying for the energy. Where are you getting the energy from? It's an energy thing.
But I would think that would be very valuable. I mean, think about how many people buy
It's not
bottles of
valuable
water.
enough yet. That's the point.
Well, is it that?
It's just money. Dude, you can ask, what does it cost to ship a half pint of water from Fiji? Fiji water. What does it cost to bottle that in Fiji, ship it here, relative to desalinating the ocean? It's cheaper to ship a pint to Fiji. There'll be a day when that's not the case. And future wars are going to be fought over who has access to fresh water. And the value of water will go up. And by the way, the value of water in space is $10,000 a pound.
government whistleblowers coming out of,
I know,
saying
I know.
that they've retrieved UFOs, one of whom I've had on my show, and like, it's kind of hard to poke holes in his story, like, felt like, pretty prima facie, at least, very, very, like an honest account. And so how do we square that circle?
I don't know that I can. Yeah, and because for me, and this is not, I am not like calling anyone into question or anything like that, but like I have no special access to anything. I'm just an average dude, right? Okay, right. And so I have to always ask myself, like, what's more likely? Like, what this person's telling me is true, and they could be speaking a falsehood and not be lying. I'm not saying anyone's lying or anything like that. Like, you always have to weigh, it's like, is this testimony true? It's the probability that this person's been somehow deceived, or et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just taking, like, whether, it's any of the whistleblowers, I don't know how I can really weigh that out.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, let's say, we talked to whistleblower, Roy, right? Okay.
Sure.
And, we ask Roy, hey, yeah, you've been told this, and this by all these people.
Yep.
It seems unlikely that they're all in on something. That seems unlikely. Okay?
Yeah.
But then it seems really unlikely that these things they're telling you is true too.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So this is an old argument from David Hume about miracles. And so we have to weigh that.
This trader made almost $1 million on a single position after Microsoft went up almost 9% after reporting their earnings today. Now, $1 million might sound like a lot to you, but for an experienced trader like Nancy Pelosi, it's pretty much nothing. She owns about 30,000 shares of Microsoft worth over $11 million, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to her net worth of over $240 million, which she somehow acquired with a $200,000 salary. Nancy Pelosi is without a doubt the best trader of all time, with her portfolio up over 600% in the last 10 years. She's such a good trader, in fact, that Congress is passing a bill and they're naming that bill after her. That bill, unfortunately, though, will bring an end to her miraculous trading record, because Pelosi is actually an acronym for Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investments. Do you support the Pelosi Act? Let me know in the comments below.
We think that a lot of the jobs that you might want a humanoid to actually do are the kind of jobs where it's basically backbreaking labor for a person to do. These are really challenging, ergonomically unfit tasks that we ask people to do or need people to do right now. We think that robots will be much better suited for those.
Oh, you want to move to Arizona? Okay, 1 second. Just about to enjoy my soup when I noticed a little fuzzy bunny. Wow, would you look at that?
Now that spider in Arizona looked like it might be bigger than the ones in Australia. All my family in Australia, let me know, man. Is that the case or what? Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me on this beautiful Friday. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam, man. Stay up to date with the latest, greatest, interesting, and creepy videos all across the world. And if you got nowhere to go, just know you're always welcome here, man. Hey, I will definitely catch you on the next one.